When I started ministry, Ibiyeomie had not become born again. He had not been born again when I started. He was still in Sele. What God cannot do does not exist. It's not the truth. People think I'm jealous of Jereze. Jereze is by far my... It's not about sentiment. It's about knowing what the truth is. I believe in miracles. I believe in healing. But not this RNG that we're seeing today.
Are you saying the miracles are RNG?
Can't you see most of those crutches are all the same color? They're all brand new. In what world will people come for a crusade and all of them are carrying the same brand of crutches? Why are you asking for tithe? If you read the book of Acts, nobody paid tithe to anybody. Jesus didn't pay tithe. Jesus didn't receive tithe. All the disciples of Jesus had professions. So all of this idea that because God has called you must resign your job, I don't know where they're bringing it from because it's not Bible. That I was a master in that gospel. Some of them is my template they're using.
Yes, because there are videos of you saying that if you don't pay your tithes, divorce will come for you.
I was Baba.
So when did this change? Did your format cast?
It was a gospel that started by saying men of God should not be poor because God is not poor. And it started making sense. And then we started seeing some men of God raising money and living better. So we also wanted to...
Okay, so that's the snippet or like a trailer of the interview that Dr. Abel Damina had with the Honest Bunch podcast, led by Nedu Wazobia, Husband Material, and a couple of all these other guys. Of course, you know Honest Bunch podcast. He's been bringing a lot of voices and putting up conversations, right? So this last snippet was released a few hours ago in preparation for the main broadcast that will be released on Monday 6 p.m. usually Monday 6 p.m. So that is being expected. A lot of persons have been tongue-waggling and saying that Abel Damina, being a pastor, had no reason be going to a secular platform to for this interview, and that conversation is already there. Also, some other persons are saying that the man is now chasing clout and is no longer doing it for the kingdom because this is just too much. All right, but for now, I will leave all that conversation for people to decide. But one thing I want to say, Abel Damina may not be right all the time, but he has not been wrong all the other time. Again, Abel Damina may not be right all the time, and by right, it is not a black and white thing. It's proof of so many other considerations. Sometimes we allow our sentiment to also be clouded our sense of judgment in a way that, okay, oh, why now? What for? Let's take it easy. Why dwelling too much about this? I think, for example, there are certain subjects that the man has attacked that is very genuinely. You could see that this is very genuine. Some other time he has also had to go controversial in pushing out certain information. Again, I'm not here to because, like I've always said, if you know how bad, how disastrous this organized religion, the sect, these pastors went, you will not blame someone like Abel Damina in his own radical approach to turning the tides. It's been so much. So, and then if you suddenly begin to love God, now that there is a radical tool being used to destabilize a couple of things, and you never bothered about what these guys were doing then. I've always been bothered. I've always been worried about how these guys run Christianity, how they run their churches, how they run systems. A lot of these churches have become cult, infested with cult-related activities. A lot of this system have been like an aquarium where people are gathered and they are just moving around circles, no progress, right? So it's okay now to be disappointed or not too comfortable with Abel Damina, but if you were comfortable with how the church was running then you are part of the problem. So again, Abel Damina may not be right all the time, but he's not been wrong all the time. Some person said that he didn't need to be on this platform, but I'm waiting for the video. I had already told a friend that he will call names. I've never seen Abel Damina be trying to play around not calling names on his pulpit, but it seems like he went to this podcast with a lot of names. So we'll wait for the Monday broadcast, 6 p.m. Nigerian time, Honest Bunch podcast. And then we'll bring the commentaries to you as usual. Right? But for now, was this right that he went there? Should he limit the platform? Should he limit where he shares his message? Or are there things you want to advise Abel Damina? If you had a chance to advise him, what would you be advising him? I'll catch you later.